Hi, welcome back. We are at the last section of Chapter 3, Research Topic and Literature Review. In this section, we're going to have a quick look on writing and reviewing the source of literature. This section has quick outlines. The first one, we're going to be looking at reviewing the literature, and then we will see quick guidelines on writing the literature. So first of all, you have to see that evaluation on the source for your literature can vary, and it isn't like there is a specific way to do that. But here are some guidelines in general. First of all, either the source is digital or physical. Just you have to consider, number one, is to identify the financial support, if it has been any. For example, if you are reading an article, maybe you want to look at the financial support of the research, because sometimes it could be kind of bias of interest towards the institution that funded the research. So usually I prefer personally to look whether the research was individually conducted or had been some kind of fund behind it. If there is a fund, it doesn't mean something bad, but maybe you need just to consider the fund was for a purpose of general knowledge, or there could have been a kind of personal interest. Then maybe you want to review the research question very carefully. Check out the argument, try to read how the research question was presented and what kind of argument has been done. Also try to define the research paradigm. Now, you know that there are the quantitative and the qualitative kind of paradigms that we know. So try to find out which one the research is conducted based on. And then you want maybe to look and to evaluate the result overall in general. Next thing I want to share with you is that for each section in the literature, you may have to consider the following. But before that, I would like to tell you, when you read any of those materials, you should know that there are 4 important sections that any literature or research officially written must have, and that is the introduction, the method, the result, and the discussion. In the introduction section, when you read, try to ask why actually the researcher undertake the research. Try to find answer for this. When you reach to the method section, maybe you want to ask what kind of method or methods the researcher employed. And maybe in the results section, you want to ask what are the findings. And finally, on the discussion section, maybe you want to ask what are implications or interpretations of the result. Now, if your literature was based on a digital source from the internet, you may want to find out the audience for whom the website that you are reading from aimed at. Also, you want to try to understand the researcher philosophy and the approach. Don't just only rely on written achievement and predetermined of the researcher. I think you must try to understand deeply the context, the delivery of the researcher, and how his own personal philosophy or presentation. And finally, you want maybe to look at, to evaluate the content of the research in general. So that was a quick review on the way you may want to adopt while you are reviewing the literature. The next outline, we will be looking at writing the literature in general. I will see you then.